The reel begins to spin, light crosses the rooftop wall. Someone finds row 12, a chair slides quietly, and you smile. Mind if I sit here? Friday night above the city, the skyline wearing 1,000 lights. Old folding chairs lined up facing a white screen. I came to watch a movie instead. I noticed the stranger holding a box of popcorn like it was the most important thing in the world. You looked over, I think you're in my seat. I stood, oh, you laughed. I'm kidding. The opening scene had already begun, but somehow neither of us was watching the screen anymore. The opening credits started rolling, names filled the night sky, but the story I remember never happened on the screen. It began one seat away, one quiet smile, one simple joke. Sometimes love doesn't need a dramatic entrance. Sometimes it only needs an empty chair beside yours. The projector clicked softly, film grain danced across every frame. You reached into the popcorn bucket, our hands met for half a second. You looked away, so you always come alone. I nodded. You? The first time? Funny. Neither of us expected to leave with company. A breeze moved across the rooftop, the city buzzed far below. Somewhere a train passed through the darkness. The movie kept playing, but neither of us could remember what it was about. The opening credits ended, the film continued. People laugh, people cry, but all I remember is your voice asking, same movie next Friday? I smiled. I'd like that. Maybe some stories never begin with once upon a time. Maybe they begin with mind if I sit here? The screen fades to black. People gather, the things you stop at the rooftop door. Turn around, wave once. I'll save your seat. The elevator closes, the reel keeps spinning. Touches concrete, you wave from the last row. I kept my promise, my seat was waiting right beside you. The rooftop looked familiar, The lights, the projector, the skyline. Only this Friday felt different. You already knew my favorite drink, I already knew. You hated movie spoilers, you handed me a paper cup, no sugar. I smiled, you remembered, of course. Funny how strangers can become someone you look for before the movie even starts. Row 12, last two seats. The city's brightest lights were never on the screen. They were reflected inside your eyes. Every Friday, the credits rolled. Every Friday, the story started over. Different movie, same seat, same smile. Some things never need changing. Halfway through, you lean closer. Have you noticed what? We're the only ones who stay after the credits. I looked around, you were right. Everyone came for the movie. We came for the silence that followed the rooftop. Always sounded more honest after everyone left. The projector clicked softly. A breeze lifted the edge of the screen. The city below us never stopped moving, yet somehow time always slowed up here. Row 12, still waiting. One empty seat never stayed empty. For very long the film would fade, the lights would return, but somehow the best scene always happened after the ending. Not written by a screenwriter, only by two people who kept coming back. Da 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 da. Darkness settles across the rooftop. You gently fold your chair before leaving. You place a small movie ticket into my hand, written on the back. Same time next Friday. The elevator doors close. I keep the ticket.
All the caramel. The movie had barely started yet somehow you laughed before the funny scenes. I watched you more than the screen. Every expression changed with the light of the projector. Blue, gold, white, like the film was painting your smile, frame by frame. One bucket, two hands, a dozen accidents. was finding someone who made ordinary moments feel unforgettable. The hero like a kiss, it kissed the girl, the crowd cheered, you leaned over. Too predictable. Oh, so how would you write it? I thought for a second I'd skip the dramatic speech, but then I'd let the silence do the talking. You looked for a little longer than before. I think I'd watch that move. The projector missed a single frame. The screen flickered and one looked up except us. We were busy trying not to notice how close we'd become. You fold the empty bucket into a tiny boat, set it on the armrest. Proof, we finished it. I laugh, I barely had any. You shrug, I guess you'll have to share again next Friday at 8. Projector rolls to the next scene.
The final scene fades away. The audience applauds. One by one, the chairs become empty. Only the projector keeps humming. You don't move, neither do I. The lights return slowly. Someone sweeps the popcorn from the floor. A couple laughs on their way out. Then silence. You stretch your arms above your head. So what did you think? I smile honestly. I barely remember the movie. You laugh. I knew you'd say that. The best part was never the ending on the screen. It always started when everyone else went home. After the credits, the rooftop feels different. No applause, no dialogue, only the city breathing below. You sit closer than before, not because it's cold, because leaving can wait a little longer. Maybe every love story needs a quiet place after the ending. You picked up an old film reel resting beside the projector. So this is what movies used to look like. I nodded. Thousands of tiny pictures. You smiled, kinda like us. How one Friday wouldn't mean much, but together they become a story. I looked at you for once. I couldn't think of anything better to say. The wind lifted the corner of the screen. The skyline shimmered in the distance. You rested your head all's quiet. You look at the blank screen. See you next week. I shake my head with a smile. No, you look surprised. I'll see you tomorrow. For the first time Friday. Didn't feel far away.
A ribbon of light cuts through the darkness. Tiny dust floats like stars inside it. You quietly ask, have you ever noticed the light is prettier than the movie? The screen filled with another story, but I kept watching the beam travel across the rooftop. It crossed your shoulder, your hair, your smile, turning every ordinary second into something that belonged inside a photograph. You caught me staring. What? Nothing. You smiled. So did you. Maybe movies borrow light to tell stories. Maybe people borrow each other to feel alive. Projector light falling across your face, soft enough to hide every fear, bright enough to show everything you never said. Every frame passed by, still the only picture I wanted to remember was you laughing beside me. Halfway through the film, snap, the screen turned white. Someone downstairs groaned. The projectionist raised a hand. 5 minutes. People complained. You smiled. Good? Why good? Now nobody's watching the movie. You stood, held out your hand. Come on, we walked to the edge of the rooftop. The skyline performed its own film, without actors, without scripts, without endings. The wind carried the smell of fresh rain. You leaned against the old brick wall. I think this is better. The movie? You shook your head. The interruption. Sometimes life knows exactly when to rewrite the script. Projector light shining behind us now. The screen finally came back, but neither of us returned to our seats. The city had become our theater. The stars, our ceiling, the silence, our soundtrack. Some nights don't need perfect timing, only the right person standing in the same light. The audience applauds. We stay by the railing. You gently slip your fingers between mine. Without looking, you whisper, I don't think we missed the best part. The film continues, so do we.
Its whistle echoes between the buildings. The projector is already packed away. Only the city still shines. You step closer to the railing. So many lights. Cars move slowly like rivers of gold. Apartment windows open one by one. Somewhere someone was cooking dinner. Someone was laughing. Someone was falling asleep. And somewhere someone was probably falling in love, just like us. You rested your chin on folded arms. I wonder how many stories are happening right now. Millions, and somehow we found the same rooftop. The city never stopped moving, yet somehow every Friday it always made room for us. City below us, stars above us, two different skies meeting in the middle. Every building held another story, but mine always ended here with you, standing close enough to hear my heartbeat without a single word. The breeze lifted a loose strand of your hair. Without thinking, I tucked it behind your ear. You smiled so quietly that even the wind couldn't steal it, you know. You whispered, I don't even watch the movies anymore. I know, you noticed. I noticed a long time ago. You laughed, so why do you still come? I looked across the skyline. I never came for the movies. The clock tower struck midnight. The sound rolled across the rooftops. You closed your eyes as if trying to remember this exact breeze, this exact night, this exact feeling. It was always about who was waiting at the top. The doors slide open, you step inside. Just before they close, you reach out, catch my hand. Breakfast smile. I know a place the doors close slowly. The city keeps glowing.
The station clock reads 12:43. One last train waits below. You glance toward the tracks. We should probably go. Neither of
People hurried with heavy bags, some returning home, some leaving everything behind. You rested against the brick wall.
Funny, everyone's running to catch something.
A smile, and we're trying to miss it.
You laughed.
Exactly. Maybe the last train was never alright. Maybe it only reminded us that tonight didn't have to end so quickly.
Last train home,
Let it leave without us.
the city can keep
Its schedule will keep
this moment.
some destinations
Can wait
until morning, because right now
your hand.
feels more important than anywhere that train
Could take me.
The conductor blew his whistle, the doors closed slowly. The train pulled away, its windows filled with strangers. You watched until the red lights disappeared, then quietly said,
I don't
think I've ever been in such a hurry to stay.
I looked at you.
I've been feeling that way since opening night. Your smile answered before your words did. The breeze turned cooler, you slipped into my jacket. It's warmer, it is, but we both knew it wasn't the jacket. It was finally feeling at home beside someone.
Last train home,
Gone into the darkness,
still neither of us.
lost anything, because
Not every journey
needs a ticket. Some begin on rooftops, some continue in quiet conversation, some become the place you never want to leave.
tonight.
Home wasn't across the tracks, it was standing right here with you. Silence returns. You look at the empty rails, then gently ask, walk with me.
I nod.
The elevator can wait, we choose the stairs, one step at a time, together.
Rip the usher smiles. Last showing tonight. You glance at me, so one more movie. I grin. I was hoping you'd ask. We bought the same seats, row 12 like always. The city waited outside, but tonight neither of us looked toward the skyline. We stayed inside the little world only this rooftop could create. The lights dimmed, the room became quiet. Your shoulder found mine before the opening scene, like it already knew where home was. Funny, the tickets changed every week, the films changed every week, but somehow we never wanted anything else to change. One more movie, one more Friday, one more reason to stay until the city falls asleep. If tomorrow comes too soon, let's borrow one more scene, one more song, one more laugh, because some nights become forever before you even notice.
Halfway through, you whispered, "I've seen this movie before, so why come again?" You smiled, "I wasn't here for the movie." The screen filled with fireworks. I never looked up because the brightest thing in front of me was already smiling. The credits began rolling. Nobody stood up for once. The entire rooftop stayed seated, as if everyone secretly hoped the night would find another ending. You reached into your bag, pulled out a small camera. One picture, the flash, captured the projector, the skyline, and as one more movie. Maybe next week we'll bring another story, another soundtrack, another ending. But I already know which part I remember. It won't be the actors or the dialogue, it'll be the quiet smile you gave me when the lights came back on, because that's always my favorite scene. You shake the instant photo. Slowly our faces appear across the white border. You write, "Friday, Friday," then slip it inside the cassette case. The rooftop falls silent. The memory doesn't.
One, two, three. Midnight finds us again. The rooftop looks exactly the same, only we don't. The chairs already know where we'll sit. The old projector already knows when we'll smile. Even the wind feels familiar, as if it remembers every Friday before this one. You hand me a paper ticket, no movie title, only today's date. I fold it into my wallet right beside the first one you ever gave me. Maybe traditions don't begin with holidays. Maybe yet somehow we always find the same place, the same chairs, the same moon, the same feeling waiting between us. You looked at the skyline. Do you think we'll still come here years from now? I smiled. I hope the projector still works. You laughed. That's your concern? No, my concern is making sure the seat beside me never stays empty. Your eyes found mine long enough for the silence to answer before you did. The wind turned another page.
like every memory that grows more beautiful with time. You rested your hand inside mine. It no longer felt like the beginning. It felt like home. Right forever. Even if this rooftop one day disappears, even if the projector never shines again, even if the chairs are gone, we'll still carry every Friday inside us, because the place never made the memories the people did, and every story worth remembering always begins with someone who decided to stay. One by one, the lanterns go dark. You take one last look at the screen, then quietly say, same life, different Friday. I smile, and I'll still save you the best seat. We leave the rooftop together. The city keeps glowing behind us.
The reel slows down. The beam disappears. For the first time, the rooftop is lit only by morning. Someone whispers, that's the last screening. You smile, I know. The white screen looks smaller without the movie. The folding chairs stand quietly in perfect rows. The popcorn stand has already closed. The city hasn't changed, neither has the skyline. But somehow everything feels different, because tonight was never about the ending. It was about realizing how far we've come. We came here looking for stories. Without noticing, we became one. The lights came on, nobody clapped, nobody hurried. The night didn't need a finale, because the greatest scene was never projected on that screen. It lived between your laughter, my heartbeat, and every Friday we refused to forget. When the lights finally found us, they showed exactly where home had always been. You reached into your bag, inside movie tickets, folded receipts, tiny Polaroids, a dried flower pressed between two pages. You smiled. We kept everything. I nodded almost. You looked up. What did we miss? I gently took your hand. We forgot to keep score, because love was never measured by anniversaries, only by ordinary nights that quietly changed our lives. The morning breeze lifted the movie poster, its corners curled with time. You carefully removed it from the wall, folded it once, twice, then handed it to me. So we'll remember where the story started. I looked around the empty rooftop. It'll never really end. The lights came on, the screen went dark, the projector fell silent. Yet somehow the story kept moving, not inside a movie, but inside every drive home. Every message, every shared coffee, every
the seat beside them. No matter how many films have already ended. Rooftop falls quiet. Ahead 1,000 more stories wait to be written.